welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm Dee.
And today we're going to go over episode 13 of the Real Housewives of Potomac. The episode is called Sharing is Caring. I don't know what we're sharing and I don't know who we are caring for, but we're going to go over the episode, give you a rundown, give you our opinions like we always do, and we're going to get started.
Okay, so if y'all have been watching our recaps, you know that we go based off of a Vulture article. Vulture's hilarious with their articles. So remember, we are recapping from Vulture. We will give you opinions, but these recaps are from Vulture. So don't come for us like we're saying these mean things. We can be mean, but anyway, that's not the point. So the title from Vulture is The Real Housewives of Potomac Recap Passport Hose. Again, from Vulture. All right. So, in the last couple of years, Bravo reunion sets have habitually been themed around major trips or functions. The Real Housewives of New York framed their big showdown around Jenna Lyon's event. New Jersey set their stage around the castle in Ireland they visited. Salt Lake City shot for Bermuda, but ended up in a barnacle under the sea. And Atlanta did take on a Jamaican theme on the last reunion that I watched. Given the trying state of affairs that has gone down this season, I was deeply fearful that we would have to prepare for the Potomac girls to spar on set full of roosters and bingo cards. Austin. I say all that to say, despite my sharp words for Robin this season, all praises be to her for ensuring that our main memories of cast trips this season are not in a series of middling outings in Austin. To the Dominican Republic we go. Before the final trip of the year, we do the requisite round robin check in amongst the cast to level set where everyone stands amongst each other. Mia and Ashley's get together starts to bear fruit over the reality of their circumstances with a more mature sugar baby dolling out advice to one who is waffling and executing her final walking papers. Ashley's reluctance to file for divorce comes from lifelong trauma around poverty, insecurity, and having long held fear of not being able to provide for her kids. I empathize with that trigger, and you can tell that her anxieties over an unstable childhood are very real. Still, she is also a woman who now has a healthy check from a reality TV veteran, from being a reality TV veteran, the means to leverage it into multiple other business opportunities, which certainly won't fully match the lifestyle she was previously accustomed to with her crypt keeper ex,
Oh.
Vulture, but will more than suffice for a comfortable lifestyle that she and her kids will need. She's far from a young kid watching her clothes strewn out about on the road and has plenty of resources to help her in tow. So she needs to either ish or get off the pot. In closing the door on this chapter in her life, she informs Mia that she plans on filing her executed divorce papers by the end of 2023, and unless she has a new development to update us on at the reunion, I have no reason to believe that she has done so yet. Okay, so before we go on to the next cast members that reunited, what do we think so far about Ashley and Mia's little get together?
Well, I thought that I felt, a little sad that Ashley has like these, maybe triggering thoughts or feelings because of her childhood and things like that. But like the article said, she's making some money. She has this GNA. I don't know where that's at in the you know business line aspect area, whatever. But I think she needs to downgrade her lifestyle, and a lot of the housewives do, so she can afford things. I don't know why they think that they're these D-list, actresses that making A-list bucks. They're not. They need to stay within their range. Live
Ooh.
above, I mean, don't live above your means. That's what I think.
Yeah,
But, it is a concern, and, these are trying times, but, she always has money for a Corona. So
always, always.
save them dollars.
Ashley, I think that her situation, while understandably it can be triggering given her own background, her childhood, and all that stuff, like it's pointed out in the article, she has the resources, she has the means, and a steady paycheck. Although it could be, maybe a little bit concerning that the ratings haven't been so great. So that could potentially be an issue. But I mean, we've seen her out and about in other like activities or other, celeb related events outside of Bravo World. So I know that like she's able to be out there, she's able to like get some things done, and her kids are small enough that I think it wouldn't be so detrimental to them, as far as not having the parents together, or the fact that she's a single mom. Like I don't think it would be that like traumatizing for them, because she's still able to provide, they'll still be able to spend time with their father. There's these little things that can still work out like in her
Mhm.
favor. So I mean, I don't know, where was the concern when she was dating that one guy? um
Oh, that hockey player.
yeah, whatever he was. Like she didn't, I don't know. So like it's like I feel for her, but then it's like, do I really? Like, because you are still out in these streets, you're totally entitled to live your best life, but holding on to Michael, or holding on to Michael's money, that's not that's not going to be healthy. Like in the long run, I don't think. But anyway, that
Yeah,
was
but girl, things are expensive. If somebody's paying for my stuff, true. And I'm just saying, like you pointed out, she was dating this hockey guy. Michael's still paying the bills. Well, why don't she just stash her money and, have an exit strategy? Let's think
you
about
should
this. Ashley, let us know what happened with that prenup that you had.
that should have been the exit
How
strategy.
did he bamboozle you out of whatever we thought you had?
She fumbled the bag, that's on her. I can't feel sorry for her, because we all saw that episode. We all saw that season when she was hard at work with renegotiating the prenup. What happened, ma'am? We were all rooting for you. We were all thinking, oh, okay, she's smart.
Yeah, she's the smartest housewife.
Right. Like, okay, she's doing something. Crickets. We are at crickets now. But speaking of crickets, let's get to the next outing. So back to Vulture. Nneka and Wendy meet in Baltimore to have their long awaited one on one sit down to clear the air and move forward. And the scene is as frustrating and unproductive as every other interaction they have had this season. Conflicts come with dialogue, compromise, and resolution. And while Wendy was understandably gone into this, or has understandably gone into this conversation with her defenses up, she has already predetermined the only acceptable resolution for her and refuses to yield on any other points. I am glad that both women established that there's a significant stigma associated in the Nigerian Igbo community with publicly declaring someone a witch, and the danger of letting a rumor like that simmer unfounded. It was a low blow that came from an escalation between third parties and has set their relationship off on a sour note. Where Wendy falls short is that she seemingly insists that no such interaction between her sister and mother happened offline. And that is an argument that she cannot sell to Nneka or the viewers as the episodes develop throughout the season. I can buy that things are getting lost in translation, unfairly misconstrued, or difficult to talk about because it would be breaking the fourth wall a bit too much. Um, about producer interference and casting protocols, but Wendy's unable to convince me that her mother did not have a conversation with Lebe that took an untoward turn, especially when her mother so much as admitted that she raised issues with a former family friend. Acknowledging that other people may have gotten involved without your knowledge is far from witchcraft or submitting names to a shrine, Catholic or otherwise. Ultimately, Wendy has committed to drawing a hard line requiring that Nneka fully walk back all of her claims, even though with substantiation, even those with substantiation, and leaves no space for Nneka to engage or for the duo to reach a mutual agreement among amounting to their vocal frustrations with producers after Wendy walks off in a stilted yet dramatic huff. Thankfully, everyone seems committed to enjoying a enjoyable trip to the Dominican Republic and leaving most of their interpersonal grudges aside. So, again, before we continue, What did we think about this one-on-one?
Well, that was very anticlimactic. You know, I forgot that it was going to happen in this episode. I
Yeah.
felt like it was that little dumb interaction between Ashley and Mia, and then it went to them, and I'm like, whoa! I thought it was going to be at the end. I
Wait,
kind of
wait,
forgot
wait.
about it.
Yeah.
So when they were talking, Wendy came already on a tip. Like she was already pissed.
Yes.
She wasn't receptive. She didn't want to hear it. You
Oh,
know, I don't know how many times NECA needs to apologize, and I get it. You talked about my mama. You know,
it's a problem.
something is a problem.
Yeah.
We're gonna verbally fight. But like I said in another episode, I think it was the last episode or one of our videos, which if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's called Wendy versus NECA. For the sake of the viewers, they need to get over it
Yeah.
because at this moment in time, there's so many divisions. Clearly,
Yeah.
Candace is not talking to Giselle. Wendy is off in her little corner, and now I don't even feel sorry for her because she's not talking to Robin, she's not talking to Giselle, she's not talking to NECA. Everybody likes NECA apparently, so
Yeah.
what's happening? So just Wendy wanting NECA to take back the whole thing, I'm like, girl, it ain't gonna happen. Mecca's a lawyer. She ain't gonna throw things out there and then take it back. Like I don't know. I thought it was pointless. I think she's childish. I think they. I hate to say it. I think they need to kick her out of the show and bring in somebody else because
Yeah.
where how can we move forward here?
Yeah.
And I think
Um,
she's overdoing it on every other scene, like being extra excited and trying to be, kind of the center of attention, but she's not really the center of attention.
dang. Whew.
My thoughts, not vultures.
So, yeah, you're absolutely right. She walked in immediately. You knew this is not going to be productive. Like
Hmm.
immediately. I felt bad for NECA because you could see that she wanted to have a resolution. She wanted to move forward, and she was putting forth the effort. Yes, like you said, understandable that Wendy, you talked about my mama. That's the problem. I get that, but it's like they so she keeps saying like that affected my family, da da da. And this is the first time that we hear NECA say it affected her family as well. The whole situation, but she keeps saying like it affected her family, affected her family. Past tense, like we're done over all of that, right? Like, is your mother ostracized? Is your family ostracized from the community? Like, I don't think so. She
Hmm.
had earlier episodes, I think it was, she had her son's confirmation or something like that. The community was there. You're clearly not ostracized. And in that sit down she did with her mom said essentially, you come for me, I come for you. That's what it sounded like to me when she was saying to Lebe, I'm
Yeah.
not an enemy you need to make. Like, those were the vibes she gave. So, not to say that her mother is a witch, but clearly she was saying something. And Wendy, I understand you want to ride for your mom, you want to defend your mom and all that. But at the very least, just agree to disagree. Like, you know what? You apologize. We can move forward. We can be cordial. We can even get along one day. But how I feel about the way you spoke about my mother, that's still going to take some time for me. I think that would have been fine if she
Hmm.
said, I still need a little bit more time, but we're cool in as far as we can be cordial. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's what NECA kind of was trying to say. We can be cordial. We don't have to necessarily be friends. So it was really frustrating watching that whole scene because I'm like, man, like, I don't think there's any winning with Wendy. And at this point, it just kind of feels like she's there and she's trying to make like a spectacle of herself. And we see later on when she kind of makes these weird attempts at it. And
Hmm.
I really don't understand. Like, I'm not saying NECA's perfect. NECA made her own little remarks later on in the episode that I was like, girl, that's unnecessary. But at the same time, it's like we keep going back in circles and everything. And I feel like the best thing for NECA, just ignore the girl. Don't even make those comments. Don't bother with it, you know? Like she, and we've said it before, Wendy is basically digging her own grave. Wendy is doing this to herself. She's losing the fans with her actions. NECA doesn't have to do anything because Wendy's already taking care of it, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate, so unfortunate because we all, really, or at least you and I, really loved Wendy. And even like when NECA said, she's like, man, we could have been from the community together, listening to Afro beats, all that. I was like, that's exactly what we've been saying. Like, you guys could have been, something.
Yeah.
And so like, ugh, it was unfortunate, to kind of like see that's where things went with all of that.
You
But
know, and just one thing, I hate when the housewives say, this affected my family, it affected my children. I feel like that's always a clutch,
yeah,
to not do something or to escalate something or to justify their behavior. Because we saw that with Giselle. I'm not saying that they're wrong, but I
yeah,
feel like I see it too often now. Like
yeah,
we see that with Giselle saying, well, I'm not talking to, who is it that she's not talking to?
Candace.
Candace, because her calling me XYZ, my children.
Yeah,
Then Candace said, well, or in the reunion, Candace and Chris were like, well, this affected our family, our children, da, 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 da. Now we hear it from Wendy. Well, what you said affected our community, my family, my children. Da.
yeah,
Like, obviously, I think it's unspoken. Whatever you do to me and you're on public TV, I mean, national TV, it's going to affect you and
the rest
everybody
of
else.
the family. Yeah,
So they're just using it as an excuse, and I kind of don't appreciate it at this point
yeah.
because it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, like I said, it's unfortunate and unrelated, but you brought up Giselle and how it affects her kids and all that stuff, the whole situation in the past with Candace.
Hmm.
A lot of like the situation with Candace as well as like, she kept saying Giselle because she's white passing, the whole colorism and all that stuff. And I feel like, yeah, there's some merit to that. But at the same time, Giselle has daughters, two of which are a little darker complected than Giselle and the oldest daughter. I mean, I don't think any of them are as light complected as Giselle, but still, it's like at least the twins, I believe, they're a little bit more darker complected. And so, I feel like Giselle may have a certain kind of understanding about colorism through her own daughters, through her own experiences with them. And I don't think Candace sees that. I don't think Candace understands that. And it wasn't until you mentioned it right now about Giselle using her daughters, like, yeah, of course, all of them use the whole thing about their kids. But I think that as much as Giselle has frustrated me the last few seasons, the whole colorism thing, I think to an extent isn't fully like, there at the very least when it comes to like certain aspects of it. Cause I think she can understand. She has these daughters, of different shades. She's a lighter shade, all of that. I just think like, okay, you're lodging all of these things against her as though she's utilizing her white passing privilege to attack you, to go against you. But
Hmm.
your husband is white, ma'am. Like, what more privilege can you get than a white man? So, like, I don't really understand where Candace kind of holds on to that kind of gripe with that whole situation. And it just feels like, again, going in circles over things that just don't really seem to be like so relevant or so much of an issue, because within the cast right now, you can't say that it's the ladies ostracizing Wendy, although they were doing that in past seasons.
Hmm.
Wendy's ostracizing Wendy this season.
Okay.
Candace is ostracizing Candace this season.
Hmm.
So it's not really them, and I'm not, excusing their past behavior, but it's not them doing that this season.
I could see that this season, but in past seasons, I
Yeah.
definitely, or maybe even earlier in this season, I
Yeah.
definitely always see the colorism, the divide.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wendy and Candace, they're doing it to themselves. So
Why those were like my favorites.
right.
Dang it. All right, so back to Vulture, and the trip we go. Okay, so Karen, Karen, she let it slip and revealed that Ray Huger, her husband, may be a bit of a passport bro, going on annual trips to the island and having unspecified women answer the phone in his room. Karen, of course, insists that it was part of the housekeeping team, but as someone who has seen her way around an international resort or two, the answer really fails to meet the smallest test. But hey, it's their institution. No trip is complete without the requisite drama over room assignments. My God, pisses me off.
Always.
Oh my God. An inevitable mixture of doubles and singles always results in a rat race for the best accommodations. The Grand Dame, Karen Huger, finds herself holding the metaphorical short straw this time around and is assigned to bunk up. Only she's not taking it lying down, attempting to circumvent Robin's orders by booking her own room on the estate to no avail. For a second, she declares that her ultimate F you to Robin's demand will result in her shacking up in the reception and living area for the length of their stay until Ashley graciously concedes and offers to swap sleeping arrangements with Karen so that she can take off her wig in peace. While the while the stunts and tricks were over the top, I can't say I don't understand where she is coming from. I refuse to share accommodations for girls' trips either, and my bank account has dust and lint for a bank balance. What I don't understand, however, is the purpose of a dramatic coronation of NECA as the true Grand Dame of Potomac before the gang goes out for a night golf. I'm all for a petty gag, but the delivery was stilted, the drama insignificant. Ultimately, the moniker is a label for Karen that has been readily accepted by the general public and will not change anytime soon. It wasn't a bad moment as it was small and lacked dramatic flair or proper build up. Are we supposed to be bought into the drama between NECA and Karen? We get it. NECA owns while Karen rents. But seeing as how it is an honorific with little heft, and Karen once was the president of the local Jack and Jill chapter, I struggle to see how this amounts to much of an occasion whatsoever, despite Candace expressing her irritation with the antics. When we pick back up, the Mia and Karen Cold War finally heats up next week. So before we hit the cherry blossoms from Vulture of the week, what do we think about the girls, the ladies in the DR?
Well, I don't. This is going to be dramatic. I'm not even looking forward to it. I'm glad that they're out of the country because I cannot take another visit to Surrey County, to Austin, to the local picnic, backyard football. I need some glamour, guys.
Not pickleball.
No pickleball. Like I'm not with this. No Pilates. Take me somewhere abroad. Passports. Let's use them.
Okay.
Um, so I'm happy Robin did this because usually she does lame stuff. Um,
Okay.
but this coronation, it just came out of left field. I'm like, Giselle, why? I feel like every time she's petty now, it doesn't land properly at
No.
this point. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I dislike Giselle, which is crazy to me because I'm a Giselle lover, but lately, her behavior has been off the chain. So I
Yeah.
don't really like her. Um, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with Karen because I felt like she was the glue that held Potomac together or the ladies together,
Yes.
trying to. And these past two episodes, she lost her mind. Like I don't even understand why she's fighting, why she's being a brat. I'm like, where's the mature Karen that wants everybody to get along? She literally said, "F it, whatever happens, happens. I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna act the way I want, and I'm gonna wild out."
It's that triple 20.
That triple 20,
It's that triple 20.
triple 20 was a long time ago. At this
She don't
point,
know how to act anymore. She turned triple 20 and that's it. Ain't no going back. She said F everything and everybody and that's it. That's that.
I guess.
So, I thought the whole Grand Dame Potomac whatever bit was stupid. I mean, like Really? And it almost feels as though like Giselle is going out of her way, and Robin, like they're, yes, like they're going out of their way not just to be relevant, but to like be all over NECA. And I don't know if that's something to do, go back to the colorism thing. I don't know if that's something to do with them trying to fend off those colorism allegations or accusations by befriending NECA in such a way that they never did with Wendy, because I can't recall them ever being so friendly with Wendy,
Or to
and
spite Wendy.
or to spite Wendy, right? Which would be yet another immature thing. But
Hmm.
I again, I didn't care for that, and I feel like Giselle is supposed to be in such a good place with Karen. Like, what is the purpose of this? It just
Hmm.
very regressive. And Candace and her antics, it's like, why, girl? It had nothing to do with you. Why are you walking away as though you're so like offended?
Yeah.
That was just weird. Um, Now Ashley, I have I have such an internal battle when it comes to Ashley,
Why?
because Ashley is like the ish stirrer to top all ish stirrers. If you need someone to just go ahead and stir that pot, Ashley is your girl. Ashley will find a way. The whole reason we have this NECA Wendy beef is because of Ashley. Going all the way back.
Because of Ashley, she might have misinterpreted a thing or two.
Ma'am. Ma'am.
Took it back, but then she flipped it down and reversed it,
Do
and
I need to remind you of your favorite Ashley scene past seasons when she came to an outing or a little get together, uh,
breastfed.
breast fed, breast pumped, dropped a bomb and left? This is
Apathetic.
this is the Ashley that we know.
Yeah.
But so it always pisses me off. I'm like, damn it, Ashley. But then she goes and she's like doing something nice, and she offers her room to Karen not once but twice. And I'm like, dang, is she the
Well,
nicest one?
Ashley is nice, but she, like us, she likes the drums. And well, but she takes it a step further and she stirs the pot. We don't stir pots. We just observe the drums and be like, oh shit. And then we talk about it amongst ourselves, and then that's it. It's done. But she just wants to tell the whole world, and she'll stir it a little bit and then flip it. That's Ashley. But I think she's relatively nice.
It's so baffling to me. It is like, and I was sitting there and I was watching and I was like, Ash, Ashley's really nice, but Ashley's also evil,
She's not evil,
ma'am. Ma'am,
sir.
I hate you. There are times, and even in this season, I believe, where she just brings up random crap out of nowhere that nobody's talking about. Yeah, so Candace, how did you da 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 da? And it's like, we were talking about golf. Why are you bringing up Candace and like I don't know her jumping a volcano? Where is this? Where's the connection, ma'am? Or when she goes and
Random thoughts.
or where she goes and she says to Wendy, "Yeah, I don't know. NECA said y'all were cursed." What? Two hours later. Oh, I
My,
think I may have misheard that. I don't know.
well, that was big of her because she usually never says, I might have misheard. She just lets it run.
Ashley
It's fun.
is an evil mastermind.
She's the mastermind of Potomac now.
Ashley is the evil mastermind of Potomac. But then she's two people. She's two people. She's gotta be. There's the angel Ashley that will offer her room at like whatever, that will offer to all of them paint their vaginas. Like there's the Ashley that will go ahead and just show up and be there for her friends. And then there's the Ashley that breastfeeds and drop bombs and leaves. Like
Yeah.
Ashley confuses the crap out of me. So I'm glad we've sorted it out, because I was having a conniption. I was like, but wait, but how? Anyway, that was my dilemma. Okay, cherry blossoms. Oh gosh. Another season, another round of Candace and Chris seemingly squabbling over finances and work life balance. I know that marriage is always a work in progress, but in the 5 to 6 years they've been on the show, they seem to have circled the drain over the same topics with limited resolutions. Glad to see that Candace health scares have passed, however. Ooh. Yeah, I got some thoughts on that, but I'm gonna get to it. Anyway, Grace looks lovely at her graduation, and Giselle's words for her daughter were touching as always. Jamal Bryant jump scare notwithstanding, however. I am genuinely curious what her storyline will be after she officially becomes an empty nester and can't rely on her daughters to soften her image for the show. My
Ooh.
thoughts exactly. Last cherry blossom. Poor Kierna, I don't know what her name is, has really only been seen in bits and pieces throughout this season, and when she finally gets included in a cast trip, her main highlight so far is being sidelined with an ulcer. Shame on the editing crew for adding the bubblegum sound effects. I'm done. I'm done, Vulture.
They have some pretty good articles.
I know.
Pretty good
That's
recap.
why we keep going back to them. Okay. So the first cherry blossom, Candace and Chris. What do we think?
I'm annoyed with them. I mean, what Vulture said was correct. They're always talking about the same things.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, let's plan a I don't know, let's plan a trip, let's go out on a date. It's always about money or money related things, or
Yeah.
you're gone and we're not spending time together, or it was even the fertility journey. We get
Yeah.
like little bits and pieces of that. But to be honest, and it might be mean, and I don't mean to be, but I don't think Candace wants kids,
Oh,
to be
okay.
honest, or she's not taking the thought of it seriously. She says she wants it. I mean,
Yeah.
she did, I guess the egg retrieval and all this thing, and she's like, I think about it every day. Well, what's happening, girl? You got a
She's still
husband, you
on
got
the
a house,
longest tour ever.
huh?
She's still on the longest tour ever.
Yeah, but if it's not the tour, we know that she has like these acting gigs and she has this, and so I don't think she's serious about it. Either she doesn't like her husband like that, or she don't want to have kids. They don't seem affectionate to me. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like there's a connection. There's Uncle Ben, Ray, and Karen. I feel it there. I don't. And then everybody else is like,
This
like
gotta be the funniest recap we've ever done. Oh my god.
I don't know. This episode, I just kept thinking about Uncle Ben, like how Giselle used to call him that. I don't know. And
They
I'm like, Uncle Ben really did that to Karen? I'm like,
girl,
girl.
you surprised? I'm not. I'm
Mm.
surprised she's talking. I'm surprised she's barely talking about it now. No, we hadn't
Why
heard about
would
it
she even bring it up? That happened at least, in 1972. I would not bring that shit up at all.
that we know of.
What?
It's probably happened in the past, however many years.
But nobody has brought it up. And then you have Giselle in her little confessional saying something slick, and I'm like, girl, Jamal gives me the icks. Like, you should not be saying anything.
Ooh, yep,
I'm
yep.
like, let that girl be, okay? She's been married 27 years. No marriage is perfect.
She is just
Clearly, Candace and Chris aren't.
ooh,
Let that girl be.
dang,
Let Karen be.
yeah. Well, speaking of Giselle, I wondered the exact same thing. What is she gonna do when she can't lean on her girls? What is she gonna do? What is there for Giselle to do?
But the
Wendy
girls
and
aren't
Giselle
in the
should work
show
out.
a lot.
No, they're not. But anytime you see Giselle, it's either she's with her daughters, like her
Mhm.
only, I guess, like alone, separate story is with her daughters, and
Yeah.
it's never really like her doing anything else anymore. I don't even
What's
see
her
her
man?
really with, huh?
What's her man?
Girl, what man? Her boy toy? I don't
Oh,
know,
it's a mismo.
but but I don't even see her hanging out with Robin as much either. And they were always out and about,
Mhm.
so I believe that if anybody's going to get kicked out of the show, I think it should be her before Wendy.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. If
Mm-mm.
if if Robin hadn't had the season she's having, I would have said it was been past time we got rid of her too. But
You know,
Robin's been
we
interesting.
dropped this whole Robin Juan thing. I was thinking about it this morning. I was
Yeah.
like, well, she started crying in Austin, and then that was the end of it. Like, I guess everybody felt bad for Robin at this point
We
because
all feel bad for Robin.
we didn't hear anything more about it. Like, we
Yeah.
support you, girl, stop crying. Like, we didn't. It just
I was like,
it went away.
yeah.
I mean, I guess that's a resolution, but not the resolution I wanted. Like, I needed a little recap of, yeah, we're
We're not
fixing.
getting that. We're not getting that. So my last tidbit, Kierna, I don't know your name, girl. Um, I felt so bad for her. Her friends ain't even checked on her. And then
You said
honestly,
Wendy was her friend?
supposedly, according to the little title at the bottom where it said her name that I can't remember, it said Wendy's friend. But
Mm-mm.
we know that Giselle apparently has been acquainted with her because of a mutual friend, Cal, I believe is his name,
Mm-hmm.
um, who's been, on the show before. And so when I saw her on the bus, I was like, wait, but who's she? I didn't even realize she'd been invited. To be honest with you, that whole scene where Giselle was talking to her daughters, I was continuing my TikTok story. If y'all know, Risa Tisa. So that's hella more entertaining than Potomac right now. So I'm on part like 30 something out of 52. No, I just reached part 40 or 41 out of 52. I'm almost done. So anyway, I was literally listening and watching Risa Tisa versus listening to Giselle because I was like, you're not interested anymore. So anyway, point is, Kierna, I feel bad for her, and and I hope she at least gets to enjoy DR, and it doesn't turn out for her the way that it turned for Jacqueline last season. So
Oh,
yeah,
need to bring Jacqueline back.
this girl,
Bring me some drums. Because we know something about Mia. They're gonna fight it out, and then Mia's gonna forget it 3 seconds later, talking about some let's have a shot. And then that's the end of and that's the end of it. Like,
this is true. This is true.
I love how Mia is so nonchalant about these rapper allegations. Like, her
Love
confession,
it.
it's like he's not a rapper. I wish they knew more. Like, I was like, Mia, I love how unfiltered you are.
And
Tell
she's
us
gonna tell
more.
us more. She's gonna tell us more
Oh, for sure, for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's
But
it. I'm all Potomac'd out.
I am too. Guys, that concludes today's episode. Please let us know in the comments what you thought about this episode and what do you think about all the ladies at this point. Because I think we like no one at this point. Maybe me.
And
This
half
show.
Ashley, half of
Oh,
Ashley.
well, I like Ashley. Ashley, I feel like she is cool to hang out with. Y'all could have a good old time. But don't take me to that chicken shit, whatever thing. I'll be
And
like,
don't tell her your secrets.
don't tell her your secrets. I draw the line at chicken shit. Okay? Guys, but if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends could be our friends, so we could all be friends. We also have social media, which they'll tell you about.
We're on TikTok and Instagram. Please, like, follow, share at Hear Me Out DNE. Also, comment. We enjoy interacting with you guys, although it's been hard to keep up lately. But we'll talk about that in another video.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.